Have you ever found yourself caught in the crossfire of the coil shock versus air shock debate for full suspension mountain bikes? This question echoes across the trails, forums and bike shops. It's a debate that has divided the mountain biking community, creating a rift between the coil shock proponents and the air shock advocates. Why does this debate matter, you might wonder? Well, it's all about control, comfort and performance on the track. Whether you're a casual rider seeking a smooth ride down your favorite trail, or a professional aiming for a flawless downhill run, the type of suspension on your mountain bike can make a world of difference. Each side, coil shock and air shock, has its passionate supporters and its staunch critics. Each claims superiority in certain aspects, making the choice a challenging one. But fear not. Let's delve deeper into each side of the argument and see if we can find some clarity. Starting off with coil shocks, let's see what they bring to the table. Coil shocks, the old faithful of mountain biking, have a few tricks up their sleeve that keep them in the game. One of their key advantages is consistent performance. They're like that reliable friend who's always there when you need them. No matter how long the descent, no matter how brutal the trail, coil shocks maintain their performance without faltering. Another feather in their cap is their sensitivity to small bumps. Imagine you're gliding down a trail, your bike humming beneath you. You hit a pebble, a root, a tiny dip in the trail. With coil shocks, you'll barely feel it. They absorb these little inconsistencies with ease, providing a smoother, more comfortable ride. And let's not forget about their lifespan. Coil shocks are like the tortoise in the race. They're in it for the long haul. With fewer moving parts than their air counterparts, they are less prone to wear and tear, making them a robust choice for those who like to put their bikes through their paces. However, no hero is without their flaws, and coil shocks are no exception. Their Achilles heel? Weight. They're heavier than air shocks, which can make a difference when every ounce counts. This can be a downside for those who are conscious about the overall weight of their bikes. Then there's the issue of adjustability. While you can change the spring for a different weight, it's not as simple or as quick as adjusting the air pressure in an air shock. This means coil shocks may not be the best choice for riders who like to fine-tune their ride to match specific trail conditions. Lastly, coil shocks may not be ideal for all types of terrains. They excel on downhill tracks and rough terrains, but on smoother trails or for cross-country riding, they might not provide the most efficient performance. So coil shocks do have their own set of strengths and weaknesses, but what about air shocks? Switching gears to air shocks, let's dissect their strengths and areas of improvement. Air shocks are a favorite among many mountain bikers, and it's not hard to see why. They are lighter than their coil counterparts, which can make a significant difference when you're pushing yourself up a steep trail. This reduced weight comes from the use of air as the spring medium, rather than a heavy metal coil. Another significant advantage of air shocks is their adjustability. With an air shock, you can easily adjust the spring rate by simply adding or releasing air. This means you can tailor your ride to your specific weight and riding style, or even to the specific trail you're tackling that day. This level of customization is a huge plus for riders who like their bike to feel just so. Air shocks also have a progressive spring curve, meaning they become stiffer the more they are compressed. This makes them superbly capable of handling a variety of terrains, from rolling hills to challenging rock gardens. But as with everything, air shocks have their drawbacks. One of these is that they can deliver a less consistent performance than coil shocks. Their spring rate can be affected by changes in temperature, which means your ride could feel different on a cold morning compared to a warm afternoon. Air shocks also require more regular maintenance than coil shocks. The air seals need to be kept clean and well lubricated to prevent air leakage. And if you neglect this maintenance, you could end up with a flat shock and a very uncomfortable ride. Lastly, air shocks typically come with a higher price tag. The technology and materials used in their construction are more expensive, and this cost is passed on to the consumer. So, is an air shock right for you? Well, that depends on what you value in a ride. If you want a lighter, more adjustable shock that can handle a variety of terrains, then air might be the way to go. But if you prioritize consistency, low maintenance and cost, then you might be better off with a coil shock. As with coil shocks, air shocks too have their own unique advantages and disadvantages. Now that we've dissected both coil and air shocks, it's time to pit them against each other. It's the classic showdown, the duel of the suspension world. Who will come out on top? Let's find out. Let's start with the coil shocks. They're the old guard, the veterans, the ones with a proven track record. They're dependable, with a linear spring rate that gives you consistent performance throughout the ride. But is this consistency always a good thing? Not necessarily. For riders who crave versatility and adjustability, the unwavering nature of coil shocks might feel restrictive. Now let's turn to air shocks. They're the new kids on the block, the innovators, the ones who aren't afraid to shake things up. They're adjustable, allowing riders to fine-tune their ride to their heart's content. But do these adjustments always hit the mark? No, they don't. The progressive spring rate of air shocks can sometimes lead to a harsh ride, especially when you're pushing the limits. Let's go back to weight, shall we? Coil shocks are heavy weights, literally. They add extra pounds to your ride, which could slow you down on climbs. But on the flip side, this extra weight can provide stability during descents. Air shocks, on the other hand, are featherweights. They keep your bike light and nimble, giving you an edge when you're racing uphill. But this lack of weight can make your bike feel skittish on rough trails. And then there's the matter of maintenance. Coil shocks are low maintenance, requiring less frequent servicing than their air shock counterparts. But in the case of a malfunction, coil shocks can be more difficult and expensive to repair. Air shocks, meanwhile, require regular upkeep to ensure optimal performance. But when they do need repairs, it's usually a straightforward and affordable process. So, where does this leave us? Coil shocks offer dependability, consistency, and low maintenance, but at the cost of weight and versatility. Air shocks, meanwhile, offer adjustability, lightness, and easy repairs, but at the cost of a potentially harsh ride and frequent maintenance. The contest seems to be neck and neck, doesn't it? But have we reached a conclusion? After weighing the pros and cons of both coil and air shocks, we're now in a position to draw some conclusions. Firstly, let's recap what we've discussed so far. Coil shocks, known for their plush and linear feel, have been touted as the choice for downhill and enduro riders seeking ultimate performance. They shine in providing consistent performance, even under demanding conditions. However, they are heavier and offer fewer tuning options compared to their air counterparts. On the other hand, air shocks, with their lightweight and adjustable nature, are a favorite for cross-country and trail riders. They offer a progressive feel, meaning they resist bottoming out more than coil shocks. They also offer a wider range of tuning options, allowing for a more personalized setup. Yet they may fall short in terms of consistency, particularly during long descents where heat buildup can affect performance. Now, despite all these technical differences, it's essential to remember that the choice between coil and air shocks doesn't boil down to a simple better or worse scenario. Instead, it's about finding what suits your unique riding style, the terrain you frequent, and your specific preferences. For instance, if you're a rider who values consistency and enjoys tackling rough terrain at high speeds, coil shocks might serve you best. But if you're a rider who enjoys long climbs and requires a lightweight setup with a lot of tunability, air shocks could be your go-to. In the end, the shock you choose should enhance your riding experience, not dictate it. It's all about finding the right balance that allows you to extract the most joy and performance from your rides. The debate between coil shocks and air shocks is a testament to the diversity and complexity of the mountain biking world. But remember, no matter what you choose, the most important thing is to enjoy the ride. Well, we've certainly covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? We've delved into the world of coil shocks and air shocks, unraveled their pros and cons, and put them head-to-head in a thrilling showdown. But remember, the beauty of the mountain biking community lies in its diversity of experiences and perspectives. So don't be shy. Jump right into the comments section and share your own stories, thoughts, and experiences with both types of shocks. Maybe you're a steadfast coil shock devotee, or perhaps you swear by the smooth ride of air shocks. Whichever camp you're in, we'd love to hear from you. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of mountain biking, do give us a thumbs up. Share this video with your fellow riders and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Until next time, keep exploring, keep debating, and most importantly, keep riding.